Have you heard about Witchfire, an upcoming first-person shooter with Souls-like and roguelike elements? No? Well, it is an early access title. It was firstly released on Epic Game Store, but now is coming to Steam. And guys, I don't want to talk about the gameplay or the whole game in general because you probably can watch that somewhere else. But I want to give you one or two specific points why this game has great potential and what makes this game really enjoyable for me and maybe for you. And to put that quite aside, I don't like early access games because usually you get into a game, you like it, like this one, and then you have to wait for development until enjoying it more and more. And that is something that I really dislike about the early access process. So I'm generally not playing those games anymore. But I got this one for free. I checked it out, and with each and every playthrough or each and every playtime that I got, I was amazed and hooked. So, what does that game so well? Why is it so memorable for me? To be frank, I am not a huge proponent for first person shooters. Generally, PvP first person shooters I dislike because they need a lot of skill and time to get it, and I don't have that time. But what I quite enjoy is PvE shooters that give you a couple of abilities, skills, and level systems that reward your time while you're playing. And this is what Witchfire does. Nonetheless, Witchfire does something else really well, and that is why I want to play that game more. Witchfire creates an awesome and unique atmosphere through different mechanics. One is music and sound. The second is movement, shooting, and the enemy design. When it comes to sound and music, the music is very gloomy. The atmosphere is gloomy. It underlines this demonic but religious undertone of the game, and it fits quite nicely. It doesn't spike your anxiety in the game, but it doesn't keep you very smooth and chilled all the way. While fighting, the sound snippets that you get are really anxiety inducing in a positive way. You have certain sounds that make you feel like the enemy is attacking or moving or a projectile is flying, and you really don't know where they are because they could jump from left to right, from the back. You always have to check the map, and sometimes when you beat a group of enemies, you get this satisfaction of hearing like a demonic sound that proves you did something good. You beat an evil. And interestingly enough, those sounds you also sometimes hear when you're not fighting. So that makes you really on the toes, staying on the toes, and be always prepared for some engagement, even though you know where the enemies are and where they spawn because the map is showing you that. But that's great sound design that keeps you engaged and in a tense state. Now let's come to the movement. So your character can strafe, can kind of evade enemy attacks, move fast, jump, all those typical things. You have very slow enemies, you have ranged enemies, you have quick jumping enemies, and then you have some goons. Yeah, they really called goons, and they are not very hard to kill, but this mixture of those certain types of different enemies make you really feel in a tense situation, because every time you get hit you feel like you lost a lot of life, and healing elixirs are pretty much a rare item to find. But that's not the whole deal, because those enemies, they have a certain art style, like they look like ghosts or specters or maybe some skeletal warriors, and their movement is really what pinched the needle. They move sometimes really fast, really demonic, or kind of towards you with this typical skeleton, half to the side drifting body, and that is scary. There are also enemies that are like running through or towards a wall, and they're just running to the wall without noticing that they're doing it. I went back into the game, played a couple more rounds, and then I noticed two other little things that make the whole experience pretty good. And I hope that they build upon it. One is they should add more exploration in general. I like the exploration in your home base, right? That you discover all the functions that you need. Everything is cryptically but still described. And it was pretty amazing in the beginning to walk around the map and explore what happened, why there are some gravestones, what is written in some spaces. You can also use some currency to unlock like sigils that are there, demonic sigils. Then you find like a shortcut or find a item that you need. More of that, please. That builds a whole amazingly felt atmosphere, and I wish that for. And the second thing is that is more to the weapon design that builds and creates more of this good feeling for the atmosphere, is they are adding small perks, small visual points that you see that your weapon is maybe upgraded or has an effect. Like some bullets sometimes glow with a different color. Maybe you know that, like with some runes or other magical properties, and that is great. We need more of that. Even enemies should have that as well. And that creates a whole bubble, like a nice bubble of atmosphere that this game can build upon. Putting those points together, plus the story that is very vague and leaves room for interpretation, when they combine those things together and build upon it, this game has really potential to be a great double A game that is fun to play, has a lot of progression, and can keep you engaged for a long time. And I hope the developers build upon that. I don't want to say it, but it has those Souls-like elements. When you die, you have one chance to pick up your currency. With that function, the pressure is rising and you have to be on your toes. So, have you heard about Witchfire? What do you like about it? Do you agree with me? Or is it maybe that you say, well, nice game and everything, but it kind of doesn't hook me enough? Let me know down in the comments. And for now, I'm gonna fetch myself a green tea.